Morning, people. Morning. How's everyone doing? Hopefully everyone is doing very, very well. Again, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to press that subscribe button. And also, if you can, please like and share the videos, even if you don't like them. Get a big gulp of coffee to kickstart us off. All right, before we start, a couple of things very quickly. Small businesses, I will start the shout outs again tomorrow. I have just put them in order, so I will start them out tomorrow. If you have a small business and you want a shout out, send me some details through. Send me a screenshot of your business, some contact details, and I'll just post it up. Get them in, because there will be a time when this channel is sponsored and I can't shout you out. So get them in and I will 110% shout you out tomorrow. I was going to say something else as well. Addy and Friends will start again on the weekend. 100% we're going to start Addy and Friends on the weekend. I was going to start it today, tomorrow, but I've got a couple of bits to do. I am hosting my own show on TalkSport tomorrow, 12 till 1. TalkSport 2, 12 till 1. So please jump in if you're not doing anything. If you're in a car driving or if you're in a home doing absolutely F all, please give me a listen. I'm going to be a bit nervous. No doubt. I'm just going to be. I've done, obviously, I started at TalkSport just doing like the paper review, which is on the back pages, 7 o'clock in the morning, just talking about the latest things going on in the world of sport. And then I kind of progressed to being a guest on a couple of shows. And this is kind of how it works. And then I had my first co-host gig with the UFC. And now I'm hosting. So that's good progression. So TalkSport have really pushed me. Not saying Sky haven't, because I am back with a transfer show at the end of the month. So look, good things are happening, right? Good things are happening. If you put the work in, I do believe that good things will happen. So yeah, please tune in if you can, guys. 12 till 1. It is 12. I think it might be 11 to 12, but I will put it on the community tab if the time changes. But I think it's 12 till 1, TalkSport 2. Yours truly is in the chair, the power chair, I like to call it. Oh, I need that coffee, boy. I am getting old. There's no two ways about it. Like when I wake up and I need a coffee. No, it's not like I'm doing it because I need it. I remember when my mum used to drink coffee. I'm like, what fucking need coffee for? Like, stop. And I remember all the teachers in school, coffee. Like all of them. What's wrong with these people? It's age. It is age. All right, where are we? What can we talk about? Let's start with this Frank Warren thing. That's what I'm going to call it. Frank Warren thing to Eddie Hearn, Matchroom and Sky. So Frank Warren, in the last 24 hours, has pretty much said, can we join forces? That's kind of what he said. And just put on shows together. That's how I've read it. That's how I've read it. You guys might have read it differently. I've read it as though, can we just start working with each other? Which, look, they have done some stuff in the past before, right? There have been Frank Warren fighters appearing on Matchroom shows, right? Maybe because they're mandatories, whatever they are, and the opposite's happened as well. I'm trying to think of an example. John Ryder, when he was with Matchroom, went and fought Billy Joe Saunders on the Queensbury show. I'm trying to think of the opposite on that side. Bradley Skeet, Eggington? Yeah, Bradley Skeet, Eggington, when I think Eggington were challenging at the time for a welterweight title. So it has happened before, but this is more like, this is bigger than that now. This isn't mandatory. This is just, let's skip these fights on because the public wants them. Now, some people will say Frank wouldn't have done this if he was in Eddie's position. And what I mean by that is that Mike Coppinger has been tweeting out these barb numbers, right? These viewing figure numbers. And let's be very honest, the viewing figure numbers for Frank's BT shows have been horrendous. There's no other way to describe it. They've been horrendous. The last one he done, Lyndon Arthur versus Spellman, average viewership was 3,000. Peak viewership, I think, was something like 26 or 27. Average viewership, 3,000. I think I could do a bloody YouTube live and get more than 3,000 average viewers. That's how bad, that's bad. That's bad. And I don't have a BT Sports machine pushing me. That's shocking. So maybe Frank's in a position now where it's like, you know what, we just need to come together because my numbers are so bad, right? Again, if Frank was the one that was in Eddie's position where he's putting on shows which are doing better numbers, not incredible, but better numbers, would he be willing to work with the guy below? I don't know. But what Frank does have is some good fighters that make good fights with matchroom fighters, right? Let's be honest. Let's have a look. These are the ones that he mentioned as fights that he would like to get on between He's Stable and Matchroom Stable. Obviously, the big one, Fury versus Joshua. I mean, yeah, we don't even need to talk about that. Let's move on. In fact, should we do predictions for them all? Fury versus Joshua. I think Joshua has a very good chance of beating Fury. I really do. But I think Fury takes it. See? See, there you go. Big AJ fan admitting that Fury beats AJ. Dubois versus DILLIAN White. Now, a lot of people were saying this is basically taking a piss because DILLIAN White's in line for a shot at Tyson Fury. Why would he step back? And he is significantly stepping back to fight Daniel Dubois. It's true, but it's still a fun fight. It's still a fun fight. And personally, I think this fight, if it were on pay-per-view, for example, would do bigger numbers than White's fight against Povetkin. Yes or no? Yes or no, people? I think White Povetkin is going to do around, it's difficult to say actually, because Dillian White has had, I think he's had Derek Chisora on his last couple of pay-per-views, and Derek Chisora is, like, brings in the numbers. I think White Povetkin does about 150, 200. I think Dubois versus White could do that, maybe a bit more. Maybe a bit more. Joe Joyce versus Chisora. That's a big fight. It's a big fight. Obviously, Chisora's got Usyk, which I think is a bigger fight, much bigger. So that ain't going to happen. Yard Boatsi. Sorry, I didn't give you a prediction, did I? Dubois versus White. White. Joyce versus Chisora. Chisora. This Chisora, I think, is just... Yeah, this Chisora can fight, man. I say this Chisora because I do think he looks a bit better now. Yard versus Boatsi. Woo! Aside from Fury, Joshua, this is the one, right? This is the one that I want to see. That's such a good fight. That is such a good fight. I love that fight. Absolutely love that fight. I don't know who wins. I'm going to say... Yard's proven now, you know. People might laugh at that, but Yard is proven. Again, keep saying it. Yard was 5 seconds away. One more punch away right now, and he would have been, WBO light heavyweight champion. I know life doesn't work like that. He didn't land that punch, but it was one punch away. So I know where Yard is because he was decent in that fight. Not quite sure where Boatsi is yet. I think Boatsi has a higher ceiling than Yard. I really do. I think Boatsi could eventually get to that world level and compete and mix with those guys. I think Yard might get found out if he goes to that world level. I think Boatsi's got a bit more about him. I think Boatsi's technically a better boxer. I don't think he's stronger. Technically a better boxer. It's a tough one. But that's exciting though. The fact I'm doing this, like and Arin, that shows how good a fight it is. And it's a fight that should be made. I'm going Boatsi. Williams versus Andrade. Well, this fight should happen, right? I mean, Williams is mandatory. Williams is a interesting fight for Andrade, you know. Andrade is not going to like that swarming. He's not going to like it at all. And he doesn't have that that punch to keep you away. His work rate's good. We know he's a technically good boxer. I say technically like that because sometimes he does some things that I'm like, what are you doing? His legs get tangled up. He falls over himself. I don't know if this is because he thinks he's better than he is and he's trying out new things, but Andrade is still an amateur, I think, world championship gold medalist. He is still a double weight world champion or 2-weight world champion, and he is still unbeaten. So I've got to put respect on his name. So Andrade. This one's interesting. Nathan Gorman versus Dave Allen. Not interesting at all. I think Dave Allen beats him. I'm not sleeping on Dave Allen that much. It's a good fight, but I'm not sleeping on Dave Allen that much. I would like to see, and it isn't obviously Queensberry versus Matchroom, but I'd like to see Dave Allen versus, why is his name just gone from my head? Wardley? Yeah, Fabio Wardley. Like that fight. But I would go Allen to beat Gorman. What's this one? Chris Jenkins versus Conor Benn. Chris Jenkins is what he's lost a couple. I think he's lost 3 fights. I don't know. Ooh, it's an interesting one, that, isn't it? Was he Commonwealth, British champion as well? Conor Benn brings it, you know. Conor Benn brings it. Conor Benn will take that fight in a heartbeat. Telling you now. You have to hold him back. Chris Jenkins will take it as well. Chris Jenkins needs the Conor Benn fight more than Conor Benn needs the Chris Jenkins fight, which is sad when you got one that's British and Commonwealth champion and you got one that literally is still a prospect. But in terms of raising his profile, Chris Jenkins needs to fight a Conor Benn. Good fight. I would favour Chris Jenkins in that, which is a bit, I don't know, I would favour him. Archie Sharp versus Zelfa Barrett. Interesting fight, considering that Zelfa Barrett was just with Queensberry Promotions. No longer, obviously. Has lost the once. Archie Sharp is unbeaten. Good fight. I'm actually favouring Zelfa Barrett in that. Metcalf versus Fowler. Interesting fight. Not high on Fowler, you know. Not high on him. Call me crazy, but there was this thing about Fowler where I thought it was a bit Carl Frocci. And I thought he could ascend. I'm not joking. I thought he could. How old is Fowler? I don't know why age is a thing for me. I always just look at like, okay, he can make improvements. You know, he's still young. I'm guessing, without even looking at it, he's about 30. He looks about 30. 29. What a good guess. You know what it is? He might just get to like European level. He could become European champion. That's some achievement, right? I just thought coming through that he could get to world level. I don't know why I thought that. So although I say I'm not that high on him, there's no shame in getting to British, Commonwealth, European level. In saying all that, I think Fowler does beat Metcalf, so I'm going Fowler. This one at the end, Edwards versus Yafai. Remember when they had that little face-off? I think it was at O2 Arena, and Charles Edwards was chirping a lot. And Yafai wasn't really responding well because he just doesn't have the ability to. Some people are very good at chirping, some aren't. Yafai beats Edwards. Sorry, Yafai beats Edwards. But those are some interesting fights. And there's way more to make as well. There's so much more to make. But those are some interesting ones. And those are all good fights. There's a couple of pay-per-views in there. And what you can do is have some on Sky Sports, have some on BT Sports. What's the problem? Right? I mean, this is the time to make it. And all of those can be made. Like, forget Fury versus Joshua for a second. And there's a couple others that might be tough to make. But the ones like Jenkins versus Conor Benn and Sharp versus Barrett and Metcalf, Fowler, Edwards, Yafai, Gorman, Allen, those can be made now. And they can be split on both shows. Do them. Do them. All right. Enough of that. What do you guys think, actually? I say enough of that. What do you guys think? Is anyone even excited for that? Or is it just no excitement whatsoever? Or you just think it's not going to happen, so why are we talking about it? I feel like some of you will be in that kind of boat. Like, ain't going to happen. I think it could happen. I think it could happen. And again, there are loads more. I mean, I'm sure if we like really think about some fights that could happen between some of the, like Billy Joe Saunders, who could he fight? Who's at 168 on Queensberry Promotions? It's a shame that Billy Joe Saunders is not with Queensberry anymore, because then it's so easy, right? Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith. I don't know. All right, let's have a look at what else. This is quite funny. Roy Jones Jr. California State Athletic Commission can't control Mike Tyson. I have to be ready for war. Now, what he's talking about is is the fact that California State Athletic Commission has basically said that they can't go for the knockout, right? So basically, it's a glorified sparring session, tip tap, tip tap. I'm sorry, Roy Jones Jr. is 100% correct. if Roy Jones catches Tyson with his famed left hook coming in and it hurts Tyson, that red mist is descending immediately. Like, immediately. Let's think about Tyson, where you know Tyson is still 1 can short of a 6-pack. Like, maybe 2 cans. Maybe 2. Like, even when you watch him on his podcast and and he's speaking, then he speaks about a subject that enrages him, he literally just goes from 0 to 100, just like that. Just like that. There's an MMA fighter, Kevin Lee, and Kevin Lee described him as, he said it being next to Mike Tyson felt like being next to one of those trained tigers, where the trainer says it's okay, but you know deep down, at any stage, this tiger could just go. And that's what he said it felt like being next to, a trained tiger. That's Mike. So I'm with Roy Jones. Like, all this talk about you can't knock him out and blah, blah, blah. Good luck to that. Good luck to that. The only way that works is if they put pillows on their fist. Literally, like, wrap it with like 40-ounce pillows. It's the only way it works. Because if you give Mike them small gloves and tell him he can't, after he's been training and doing all this crazy shit he's been doing, that you can't knock someone out, okay. Plus, I don't think it's fair to the fans. You got to go in on, stop it. You can't just be this half-stage, halfway crap. Go fully in or don't do it at all. Now, how can you want us to pay our $50, is that what it is in America? Yeah, $50 and not have a real fight? And they do tippy-tappy. Like, I don't know if you guys saw, I think it was Shaquille O'Neal versus Sugar Shane Mosley. Done something quite similar. Do you guys remember that? And they're just literally just tapping each other. And Shane's trying to land a couple of big ones, but they're just, if it's that, then that's a disgrace. Like, don't do it. I want to see a real fight. I'm sorry, I want to see a real fight. Pass the medicals, right? Make sure you're okay. Give me something real for at least 3 rounds. I'm not saying do the full 8-round war. Give me 3 rounds of war. Someone gets knocked out, unfortunately, shit. You know what you signed up for. All right, what else have we got here? I don't know if there's that much to talk about, you know. I really just wanted to talk about the Frank stuff. What's this? Dillian White. Dillian White on Fury. Joshua Marbella meeting. That looked so staged. Okay. Might have been, right? Who knows? Who knows? Sorry, that was a big gulp, wasn't it? I think if it was staged, I think they would have had cameras rolling. Like, all I've seen, and I could be wrong here, but all I've seen is just a photo. I think if it was staged, you would have had people literally with their cameras out filming every minute of that. Because, you know, that's big view. Like, imagine the numbers just on that. We've got excited about a fucking photo. Imagine the numbers on actually hearing what they're saying. Because I think Joshua said that Fury said, don't lose to Pulev, and do you have to fight Usyk? And there was a couple of other things said back and forth. That would have been perfect if it was video recorded. So I don't think it was staged, bearing in mind that it was just a photo. Plus, Marbella ain't that big. There's only a couple of good strips in there. If you're gonna meet someone in Marbella, you're gonna meet them in Marbella. I wouldn't be shocked, knowing how crazy Tyson Fury is if you found out AJ was over there and thought, you know what, let's fly over. That's a Tyson Fury move, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know. What else we got here? Not much else, is there? Bloody hell. I'm literally scrolling through. Not good news here for Terence Crawford regarding this Pac-Man fight. I doubt it's happening. A lot of people are saying that Pac-Man's long-term future best served by avoiding Crawford. What long-term future? He's 41. He's 40. We're not going to fight until he's 45, 50, is he? Like, just have a fight that makes you the most money. I mean, look, I understand what they're saying. I personally think there's only 1 or 2 fights left in Pac-Man. Although he's looked good in his last couple, but at this stage, maybe fight Amir. I keep saying it, but Amir Khan's the one to make because it's easy money. I just wonder if this COVID thing has put has made that thing a no-go, right? Because I thought that was a done deal for Saudi Arabia, if I'm honest with you. That's what I heard, actually, that Khan, Pac-Man is done for Saudi Arabia. Obviously not. But I don't know, man. I don't know what is going to happen with Terence Crawford. It's getting to the point where I care, but I don't care anymore. if I'm honest with you. I don't care. Eddie Hearn, I'm almost certain that Canelo's first fight is Callum Smith. Yeah, that's all well and good, but when? When? I mean, when is the biggest name in boxing actually fighting? It's not happening. Let's be honest, it's not happening September 12th anymore. We are what? What's the date today? August 5th? What's the date today? This watch doesn't have, oh, it does have it. Yeah, August 5th. It's not happening, is it? It's not happening. Again, this is why I was kind of and ahhing about what Billy Joe Saunders did. Like, was it good that Billy Joe Saunders said, you know, I'm removing myself from this equation? Because look, if he was in this equation, we're still here now where people are laughing, saying, oh, 9 weeks isn't good enough. Now, all of a sudden, we're down to 7 weeks. Do you know what I mean? And it's still, it's nothing. So I doubt that Canelo's fighting September 12th. Now it's probably going to be moved to November or something, or whenever they feel they can get an audience in. That's what I believe now. They're just waiting for an audience now. That's it, right? Canelo's gate is huge, and I think they're thinking, you know what, we just need a gate. So this is kind of what Billy Joe Saunders was alluding to, right? They just keep playing around. They just keep playing around. They're such the big A side that they're just like playing everyone like they're puppets. Like, oh, we'll do this and we'll do it then and no this. Long. This is the fight I mentioned the other day, which surprised me. I didn't know anything about this. Sean Porter versus Sebastian Formella, sanctioned for WBC silver title. Sebastian Formella is an unbeaten German fighter who hasn't really fought no one of note, if I'm honest with you. Sean Porter's fighting him. Okay. I don't know. It's a drop off, innit? Sean Porter obviously fought Errol Spence in that fantastic fight. Was at least in the conversation to fight Manny Pacquiao. Look at that drop. Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao, Formella. These are not the kind of fights you want at this stage of your career. They're not, right? I mean, it's a shame, but hey, this is what we're doing. What else was there? Dimitri Bivol to return to the ring near end of 2020. Completely forgot about you, sir. Completely forgot about you. Honestly, completely forgot about him. He needs to do something, right? He needs to do something. It's bad for these fighters because Dimitri Bivol's unbeaten light heavyweight champion. That should be it, right? He's ticking these boxes. But if he doesn't have a fan base, he's never going to get the money he wants or that he needs. They just need to make the Bird to Be a fight. Make it and see what happens. Is there anything else? Let's have a quick look on the man that knows, Mike Coppinger's Twitter page. See if there's got any gossip for us to gossip about. Why is Mike always releasing these numbers as well? I don't know what he's doing with these. I'm going to tell what Frank's numbers are and these numbers and that numbers. I mean, why didn't you release numbers that we really wanted to know, like the zone numbers, if you could get those? And I'm sure you can get those. Do that. Like, I feel like it's a little dig at Frank Warren for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know. Strange. There is nothing here about any news worth talking about. A couple of gossip stuff, but we're not gossiping. Quick one about this Paulie Malignaggi thing, because I'd obviously done a video a couple of days ago talking about it, and I was very much like, what was I saying? I was very much like, oh, you got to be careful what you say. I think we as people are overreacting to what people say nowadays, and you know, it's eggshells, isn't it? It's like everyone's like highly strung. I take it back. I heard what Paulie said, and I think there's a way in which to say it, and I think he said it wrong. There's a way in which he said it wrong, and sometimes that's the kind of character he is, right? Paulie will say stuff just literally just boom like that without thinking, and I think personally, he was wrong in the way in which he said it. It wasn't especially when you're up there like that, when you're that high up and people look at you, like, you've got to be careful what you say. That's all. I'm going to leave it as that. I'm not going to get into it because I've kind of made my feelings known on subjects like that. But just got to be careful what you say and say it correctly. That's all it is, people. Like, yeah, I could get very deep with it, but I can't be bothered right now. I can't be bothered. All right, don't forget, tune in, TalkSport 2, 12 to 1. I mean, I'm not joking. Please, can people flood the airwaves? I want them to be like, how the fuck have we got 25,000 listeners? Like, where have all these listeners come from? I brought them. That's where it came from. Peace and love.